It's Chelsa Messenger with Picks and Parlays. We're talking college hoops. Creighton taking on Georgetown. We've got a promo code. The code is LOVE for 20% off the entire site at picksandparlays.net. Creighton is favored -6.5. The total is 150, and Creighton is looking for a little revenge here. Georgetown beat Creighton about a week ago, 86-79 as 14-point underdogs on the road. Creighton's only covered once in the last 7, and that was as a 2-point favorite to Seton Hall. Georgetown, meanwhile, is 5-1 against the spread in their last 6, including that win over Creighton. And the total was 150 in that one as well. I will say Georgetown got off to a super hot start in that one. Not sure if they can repeat that this time out. They made 11 of 14 shots off the gun and made their first 5 3-pointers. We've got Nick from the Insider's Room to dive a little deeper into this one. Nick, what stands out to you about these two teams?
You know, there's an old saying in sports gambling, Chelsa, that good teams win, but great teams cover. Now, of course, we've probably all heard that one. You touched on this a little bit just there, that when you look at these two teams, Creighton is 14-5 straight up. That includes going 6-2 on the road. Georgetown is just 5-9 straight up, 4-4 at home. So yeah, the knee-jerk reaction, anyone looking at these records, of course, Creighton, it looks like a really good team, which of course it is. But unless you're betting on it, it's just 7-12 against the spread overall this year. One of those losses, as you mentioned, Chelsa, was that 86-79 loss to Georgetown at home just last week. The Bluejays were favored by 14 in that one. And so, yeah, this is a big-time revenge game for Creighton. And so I think it's going to finally make the most of it here. So, yeah, on the flip side, though, we have Georgetown, whose record, it would indicate that it's a really bad team. And I mean, it's not really bad, but it's not a great team at all. I mean, as far as betting on it's concerned, it's been really kind to bettors. It's 8-6 against the spread overall this year, and that includes going 4-0 against the spread in its last 4. And so Georgetown actually has a much more winnable game at home against fellow bottom feeder Butler up next, Chelsa. So really, I think that this trend of the Hoyas covering games, I think it's going to finally end here. And for Creighton, I expect it to not only win straight up, but to also finally post a solid cover here. And so, yeah, that's my official call on this one. I do think Creighton is going to be able to bounce back and cover against the spread and also get some revenge from that loss at home last week.
Yeah, Georgetown's really been an anomaly when it comes to their schedule because they had to take that pause for COVID. But since then, they had won 2 of those 3 games since coming back. So no one's been able to pinpoint how Georgetown's been able to be so good. They've been a lot better offensively in those games. However, I think the magic has got to wear out at some point for Georgetown. This is the team that was picked to finish last in the conference. And then you've got Creighton, who is expected to do big things come this March. And I think when you're talking about these type of teams who are supposed to be in contention for the title, this is when they're really honing in and perfecting their team. And we've seen it with Creighton. They looked so much better against Marquette last game, being able to not only shoot the 3 ball, which is something that they've been doing all season long, but also getting a lot of second chance points and finding ways to get it done offensively, not just by shooting threes, because as we know, you can live and die by the 3 ball. And if you're not shooting hot that day, it's going to be a long day. And a lot of times you're going to lose. So Creighton has looked better in that one game at least. So I think it's a good spot for Creighton. And you get them at a better value, I would say, at -6.5 as opposed to last time, 14-point favorites. So I don't think lightning strikes twice for Georgetown. Looking at a total of 150, that's pretty high, but we are talking about Creighton. What do you think?
I'm going to go with the under here. You made some great points about the shooting and about how far Creighton has come offensively. But yeah, to move on, to go deep, it's going to have to play some defense at some point here. I mean, they're going to double down here to get their revenge. The Hoyas have seen the total go over in 2 straight, but I don't see them continuing to be as efficient shooting here. And as I said, they have that sort of look-ahead game to a much more winnable game. So as far as the total is concerned, I'm going with the under.
Yeah, I think that it's going to be a problem for Georgia. It's really hard to repeat that kind of performance, starting 11 for 14 from the field and making all five of your first five 3-point attempts. And then also, Creighton's been a bit of a slow starter. They let Providence jump out to a 23-6 lead. They gave up 54 in the first half to Seton Hall, and then they were trailing most of the first half against Marquette. So the problem is when you take overs that are in that high range of 150, you need teams to be firing from the get-go, and I'm not sure if Creighton's going to do that here. That's going to do it for our college hoops talk here on Picks and Parlays. Great stuff from Nick from the Insiders Room. As always, Nick, thanks for joining us.